Hi guys, from this video onward I am going to start the CSS part of this video tutorial series. I have divided the CSS part into two. First one is CSS basic and second part is CSS advanced. So first I will complete the CSS basics. So let's start the first video of our CSS. In this first video, I am going to talk about the implementing CSS. Means how many ways we can define the CSS for our HTML element. There are three ways through which we can define the CSS for our HTML element. First way is inline CSS, then internal CSS, and third type is external CSS. What is inline CSS? An inline CSS is used to define style for a single HTML element. So by using inline CSS, we can define the style for a particular HTML element only. For using inline CSS, we need to define style attribute in the opening tag. So like here in example, I have taken the h1 tag, and inside the h1 opening tag I have taken the style attribute, and inside the style attribute I have set the CSS properties and value. Color is a CSS property and the value of the color property is green. So this is inline CSS, and second one is internal CSS. Internal CSS is applicable only for current.html file. Inside the head tag we can define style element for defining the style. Okay, so for defining the internal CSS, we need to define style tag inside the head tag. So in this example, as it mentioned, this is inside the body. I have taken the h1 element, and for defining the style of this h1 element, inside the head tag I have taken the style attribute. Okay, and inside the style attribute I have taken the element name. h1 is the element, and by selecting the element name I just define the style of that element. So this is the second way of defining the CSS, and the third way is external CSS. We can use external CSS style for more than one .html file. So suppose we want to define the same style for same style of a HTML element which are available in more than one .html file. So for this approach we need to follow the external CSS. For implementing external CSS, we need to create a separate CSS file with .css extension. We need to import .css file into our .html file by using link tag inside the head element. Okay, so this is the separate CSS file style.css, and here I am importing that CSS file into our basic.html file. How we can import? By using the link tag. Inside the link tag we need to define the relation type rel. Relation type is style sheet, and href. Inside the href we need to give the full path of the CSS file. Here this is the whole example we can see. So let's open our VS Code and do some code. So here I am taking one new .html file. Suppose I am giving the file name as basic dot html. Okay, so this is our file, HTML file, and this is the boilerplate code. I'm changing the title. This is the title, implementing CSS, and inside this body I am taking the h2 tag. Okay, for this h2 tag, inline CSS is applied. Okay, open this with live server. So this is the h2 tag. Suppose I want to change the color of the text. Here the color of the text is black, but I want to make it green. So for this I can define the style by using the inline CSS. So for defining the inline CSS, we need to take the style attribute. This is the style attribute, and inside the style attribute I need to define the CSS property and value. So for changing the text color, the CSS property is color property, and value is green. Save this and open. Here we can see that the text color is changed from black to green. This is inline CSS. So now move to the next topic, internal CSS. Okay, take the same h2 and copy this text. Internal CSS is applied. Okay, so how we can define the internal CSS? Inside the head tag we need to define the style tag also for defining the internal CSS. Okay, so we can choose this h2 by the element name. H2 is the element name, or we can take we can define one class attribute also. Okay, and internal CSS. Okay, and class, I have taken the class name internal CSS. And for defining the class inside the style attribute, we need one dot symbol, and here we can define the style. Color, we can take the color some different color also. This suppose blue, and paste, save our program and open the browser. So here you can see the for the second h2 tag internal CSS is applied. Okay, and now move to the next one. The next one is external CSS. Okay, take the same h2, external CSS is applied. So how we can define the external CSS? For defining the external CSS, we need to create a separate .css file. Okay, so for creating a separate .css file, suppose let's create one separate folder, CSS folder, and inside this folder let's create one CSS file, style.css. okay, and this is our HTML file, and the class name, I am changing the class name for this h2 element. I am taking the class name as external CSS. Okay, and by using this class name I am going to define the style for this h2 element inside the .css file. So for using the class name, dot symbol and class name, and color, this I can take this antique white. Okay, let's take some different color. Blue, violet. Okay, this is fine. Okay, so we have created one separate CSS file, but there is no link between this CSS file and this .html file. Okay, so how that CSS style will apply for this h2? It will not apply. Okay, we need to give the link. So how we can link the CSS file? We can link the CSS file by defining the link tag. Okay, relation is style sheet and href. We need to give the full path of this our CSS file. So it is inside the CSS folder. So ./css, inside the CSS style.css. Okay, so now we have given the link for this .css file inside the our .html file. Okay, inside the head tag. So now these two files are linked, and now this style will applied to the this class attribute. Okay, and this class attribute we define in the h2 tag, this h2 tag. so it will applied here. Let's open our browser. Yes, you can see that style is applied for the third h2 tag. So this is about the implementing the CSS. By three way we can implement the CSS. So for by using the inline, we can only define the style for a single element only. Okay, and by using the internal CSS, we can apply the style for the same .html file. Okay, not only one tag, the tag which having the class internal CSS, for all those tag this style will apply. Okay, in the same .html file. So we can say we can apply the internal CSS more than one HTML tag. And external CSS, so for external CSS, all the tags who have the class external CSS, okay, whether it is that tag on the this basic .html file or in any other .html file, for all those tags this external style will apply. So this is the advantage and disadvantage of using the inline, internal and external CSS. Thank you for watching this video.